Okay, this is another update of my 36-gallon bow front saltwater aquarium. I believe this is now coming up on week 11, and I have a couple of things to report. I've been slowly adding some stuff into the tank. Right now I have 4 pieces of corals. I have a zinnia, I have a zoanthid, and I recently added a brain coral, a small brain coral, and a plate coral. I've also added some cleanup crew, which includes little blue-legged hermit crabs. I've also added electric blue hermit crabs as well. Got one little guy right there. They're pretty big compared to the rest of the guys in the tank. They're just fun to watch, these little guys tearing through the sand. Since the last update, as you can see, the rocks have been turning colors. They're like a brown now. I think I'm having some algae coming up. There were other algae problems that occurred on the sand, but I've been stirring up the sand and cleaning the sand, and I upped the flow of the power heads so to try to minimize the stuff that settles on the bottom of the sand. I've also kind of modified the look of the rocks. I've moved the rocks a little bit. I've tried to open up the sand more to have less dead spots. There's another blue hermit crab over there. Not a blue hermit, he's an electric blue crab. So everything's going pretty good. Here's the latest addition, which is a tiny brain coral, open brain coral. This is a plate coral. They look like they're doing pretty good. I'll tell you a story. I had added 2 peppermint shrimps, or at least I thought they were peppermint shrimp. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I'm not really sure. I added them to the tank about 2 days ago. And they immediately started attacking the corals, the brain coral, especially the plate coral. They were just nipping at it, both of them. And I waited a day to see if it stops, and it didn't stop. And so I had moved the corals to the refuge room to try to save them while I tried to catch the shrimp. I ended up catching them using like a Coke bottle that cut in half and turned the inside of the opening. And I was able to catch the peppermint shrimp, and I returned them back to the local fish store, and they were gracious enough to take them back. And that's where these blue electric hermit crabs came in. I replaced the 2 peppermint shrimps with the electric blue hermit crabs. The water parameters are fine. I change the water every week, 10%. I have a little mark on the tank that I use as my guide. I'm using the RODI water. Everything else seems to be going pretty good. I got nothing to report. The refugium, I had added Chaetomorpha, kind of didn't make it. I took it out. It wasn't doing well. So I got to look to see what I'm going to do with this little refugium. The love-hate relationship that I have with my skimmer. I hate this thing, but it's doing its job, I guess. I just don't like how it overflows whenever I touch it. If I look at it the wrong way, it overflows. This thing has a propensity to overflow for no reason. Like, for instance, if I were to take, I'm going to just show you. I take this off. Look at how it fills up. Look at that. And it's going to overflow. Maybe not this time. But many times when I take the collection cup out, I have to be very careful. I have to take it out very slowly. Otherwise, it has a tendency to overflow. Another reason, another thing that happens, if I turn off the electricity to the skimmer and then I put the electricity back, it overflows. So I'm not liking that aspect. I think that's a poor design. But that aside, it does seem to do its job when it's working. You can see that green tea, it's pulling out all the crud from the tank, and even though I don't have a lot of stuff in the tank, it does pull out a lot of crud. Now, I'm not feeding, I only have one fish in there, and that's the only thing that I feed, and I feed it every other day, and I feed it a little brine shrimp, and just a little bit, and make sure that he finishes it up. So I don't have a lot of leftover food hanging out in the tank, and I'm not sure why I'm getting all that brown stuff on the sand and on the rocks. My nitrates and my phosphates, they're pretty low based on my testing. The phosphates are 0, the nitrates are at about 5. So again, I'm not really sure why I'm getting all this algae when I'm not feeding the fish a lot. I'm keeping my my nitrates and my phosphates low. I change the water every week. I don't leave the lights on more than 10 hours. So, you know, it is what it is, I guess. But anyway, that is the update to my saltwater tank. The zinnias are doing pretty good. The zoanthids, they're looking okay. They're starting to get more heads. Let me see if I can get that to it doesn't focus. There it is. My zoanthids are doing all right. New heads everywhere. This guy is a pretty cool looking dude right there. He's got a mouth, and I fed it the other day. I fed it a piece of brine shrimp. I put the piece of brine shrimp on the top there, and it slowly grabbed it and put it into its mouth, and it was pretty cool to watch. And the same thing with this plate coral. Those little tentacles, they grabbed the food and moved it over closer to the mouth, and the mouth opened up and swallowed the piece of brine shrimp. It was pretty cool to watch. Maybe next time I do that, I'll record it and put it on the YouTube so you can watch it. But that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's it for now. Till later. Ciao.